In the last episode talking about the firmament, we mentioned that it's the barrier between the waters above and the waters below. We could also say it's the barrier that lies between God's highest heaven, God's throne room, where God is enthroned, and the earthly realm beneath. That barrier shows up in a number of places in the Bible. When the elders, Aaron and Moses, feast on Mount Sinai, for example, they look up at the Lord and they look up through a pavement that looks like sapphire, and up above the pavement they see the Lord. And the Lord is visible to them as they eat and drink in his presence. He doesn't stretch out his hand against them, and they have a meal in the presence of the Lord, but a meal with a barrier between them. Ezekiel sees a similar barrier when he sees the glory of the Lord appear by the river Kibar when he's in exile. He also sees this barrier between this firmament that is above the figure that he sees in the midst of the glory cloud. That barrier is not a permanent feature of creation. This, I think, is one of the reasons why there's no pronouncement that the second day is good. We think that after everything God does, he pronounces it good. Creates light, separates light and darkness, that's good. He separates the waters and the land and makes the plants grow from the land, he says that's good. He puts the stars, sun and moon in the heavens, and he says that's good. That's true of every day except the second day. There's no pronouncement that it's good. And I think one of the reasons for that is because that barrier that separates the throne room of God and the lower realm of man is not permanent. That's going to be shattered. We actually see a picture of this shattering in the book of Revelation. In some places in the Bible, that firmament, which looks like a solid dome over the earth, is pictured as an ice dome. Hail is a symbol of the shattering of that firmament, the shattering of that barrier. It can be shattered from God's side when God comes in wrath against his enemies or against unfaithful Israel. He breaks through the firmament and he comes with a storm of fire, lightning, and hail. It's hail because he's breaking that ice dome from above. And that's what we see in the book of Revelation. We see several times where hailstorms appear, especially at the end of chapter 16 in Revelation, where there's a hailstorm with hailstones that are 100 pounds each. And the reason for that is because the whole story of Revelation is about the throne of God, which begins above the firmament with the sea of glass, the firmament sea, the heavenly waters in front of the throne. From that position, when John first sees the throne, to the position at the end of the book where God's throne has come through the firmament, shattered the ice dome, and come down to dwell on the earth. And that's the final condition of creation, when that barrier between God and man is gone, the veil is lifted, and the bride and the bridegroom live in fellowship and communion forever.